And because anxiety levels are going through the roof here, and because there's so much on it, that we might be guilty of overstating the scale of the actual mistake. For me, it's a mistake. It's not a penalty kick. Should never be a penalty kick, and I can't understand it. And actually, go further than that. Des kind of mentioned that VAR. Andrew Dallas, who is our specialist VAR expert, has absolutely thrown his mate under a bus, a double-decker of a bus, by getting him over the screen. And let's have a bit of context to this as well. This is John Beaton. John Beaton has been sort of derided as a bogeyman character with the Celtic support. And this stretches way back to Brendan Rodgers' first time in charge at Celtic. And the brother Beaton patter and all this stuff. And we know what that means. Let's remove the elephant from the room. The accusation is that he's some guy with a dodgy handshake that's a big Rangers fan and is desperate to make decisions which are to the detriment of Celtic. That's the context here. Now, remembering that, and if you're Andrew Dallas, you call him over to that screen for that decision last night that nobody else has seen, nobody else is appealing for, just Andrew Dallas. You pull him over to that screen. John Beaton, I don't think there's any place for him to go other than point the spot. Only took him 20 seconds. We're all still debating it and having arguments about it and looking from all different angles. It took him 20 seconds. And I'm pretty sure that he had probably had it in his own mind. Well, I've been boxed in here. There's nothing else. What is the reaction if John Beaton, given the bogeyman status that he's got, comes off of that screen and says, nah, I'm happy, I'm sticking with my decision, no penalty kick?
One thing I was...
And Des, for me, he's a human being. That those potential consequences have to be flashing through his head when Andrew Dallas pulls him over that screen.
I was just going to say as well on that, I don't know what you think, but I was really surprised at how quickly he made the decision. 17 seconds he looked at it and seemed to be certain.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So there's a couple of things here to discuss. So if we go to the first one, the last one that Daniel said, did we not have a VAR review a couple of weeks ago? I think it was Kevin Clancy with Dundee United that took about 7 minutes, or was it Kilmarnock Dundee? Took about 7 minutes to decide if there was a push in the back.
Right, yeah, it was.
Yeah. And this can be done inside 20 seconds. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen, the way I was watching it on my television, I didn't really see the VAR screen move terribly much. And how many angles are you going to get to see in 20 seconds? So if I was getting called across to say, I think you might want to look at this, knowing the magnitude of this decision and knowing the magnitude of the game, and take away that, wanting to get the right decision in the first and foremost, you have to look at all the angles available to you. And you have to look at the frames slowed down to ensure that you're going. So there again shows VAR light, because we don't have all the cameras that can show us the angles that are going to require us to make that proper decision. We didn't see an angle from behind the goals. We didn't see an angle from down towards the corner of the pitch. We just seen one angle. And as soon as John went across, I had the feeling in my pit of my stomach, he's going to overturn that. He's going to go with this. But for it to last 20 seconds, and as soon as he turned, you're thinking, yeah, penalty kick, which I was really surprised at. To go to Keith's argument in taking the human element in of it, I can understand that to an extent. However, what I don't accept is the professionalism that you've got to have in that position. And you're being paid to do a job. You're being paid to, you're lauded as one of our best referees. And one of our best referees, if he's up to date with the laws of the game, which he is, he should be strong enough character to turn around and say, no, thank you, I'm happy with my own decision. But, and I'll go on with it, but unfortunately, we do know what the repercussions could have been on the back of that. And it's not nice to say that those kind of sentiments would maybe fly around in the west of Scotland. But I would like to have thought that John Beaton would be professional enough to have the courage of his own convictions to say, yes, I disagree with you, Andrew, I'm taking it. The Keith said he's been flung under a double-decker bus. I'd say he's been just flung in front of the Eurotunnel train going at 150 mile an hour. There's potentially no coming back from this.
See, the thing is, what do you mean by that? No coming back, Des? Do you think?
I think his credibility could be shot from this.
Do you think that the SFA will hold him to account on it? Do you think that Willie Collum will drag him over the coals? Do you think there'll be a demotion? Do you think, or do you just mean in general his reputation among football supporters, managers, players is done?
I think among the football fraternity, his reputation has taken a massive sledgehammer to it there. Regarding the SFA, I hold them accountable. Now, I know people say we think that we've got a vendetta or something against Willie Collum. No, we don't. Willie Collum, the reason we make opinion is because he's making public opinions and we either happen to agree with them or don't agree with them. Okay, it's nothing personal. But we've seen Willie Collum explain decisions and the SFA explain decisions very similar for handball incidents that are not punishable by penalty kicks, and that's the edict that's been sent down in the training. I've said all along, refereeing is about the education and training that you're given, and the same people keep getting the same games, who keep making the same mistakes, keep appearing again and again. And handball rules go from A to B to C to D every single week. There is no consistency. It's horrible. Now, if it was me, Scottish football and refereeing just now is a laughing stock. That game last night is a laughing stock. And as you quite rightly said, it's not just a laughing stock in the west of Scotland. It's all over Scotland, it's all over the UK, and it's all over Europe now. If that's the level that we're working to, I wouldn't be surprised if everybody would be saying, well, we can't trust it.
That's pretty strong.